everybody, it's me, Ben L. Maiden, and I'm here today for the latest edition of Entertainment Zone. And in today's show, I will be reviewing the 2-disc edition of the Watchmen DVD, and I can tell you that this review will be spoiler-free. Now, being a die-hard Marvel Comics fan, it was very hard for me to admit that a graphic novel published by DC is actually my favourite comic book / graphic novel of all time. I really love Watchmen, and I think Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons did a great job of it, and you know, I fell in love with it, and I'm glad that I read it and fell in love with it before the film came out. But saying that, I did become slightly worried about the film, like, oh my god, what if this is a poor adaptation, you know, such as like Ang Lee's Hulk. I found that terrible, and I was really worried that Watchmen would be another letdown. But you know, director Zack Snyder has done a fantastic job of this film, and I've got to say that this really is one of the most faithful adaptations of a comic book or graphic novel that I've ever seen. Now I've got to say, I was a bit annoyed to hear that the director's cut wasn't being released here in the UK, hence why I bought the 2-disc edition, and there's no plans for it to be either, you know, but whether it will be released later on, like other films in the UK have been, such as Hellboy, remains to be seen. Okay, so I guess now I'll start off by talking about the film itself, and then after that I will move on to my thoughts on the special features on the DVD. I thoroughly enjoyed it. As I said, it's very faithful to the graphic novel, almost, so sometimes it's like line perfect, and even frame by frame how it would be in the comic book, you know. It really, it's just such an amazing film. The only thing that isn't like in the film is the tale of the Black Freighter storyline and the stuff from Under the Hood. However, that is available on the separate DVD of Tale of the Black Freighter. But it's not necessary for the film, I don't think. But if you want to check that out, that is also on DVD, Watchmen, Tales of the Black Freighter. So go and check it out. And the only other thing that was a major difference from the comic book graphic novel was the ending. And without spoiling anything, all I say is the squid wasn't in. And personally, I think what they do instead of the squid in the film actually, in a way, kind of works better than the squid, and makes it a bit more realistic. The next thing I want to say is I thought the cast were absolutely amazing. In particular, Jackie Earle Haley as Rorschach, spot on, exactly how I imagined him to be when reading the graphic novel, and he was just fantastic. Seriously, just the casting was perfect, and I'm glad that they went with like lesser known actors over like the quite well known ones, because it works better, and you know, they really are just great at their roles, and you can tell that everyone has just like put so much effort into this. Now, as for the film itself, I've got to say, the 18 rating, definitely there for a reason. Quite graphic imagery in this, nudity and sex, bad language, so this one's definitely not for the kids. And I also think that people going into this expecting it to be a typical superhero movie are going to be sorely disappointed, you know. Because I think this is a movie with superheroes in it. It's more about the human condition. I definitely think fans of the graphic novel will love it, but I think a general movie audience might find it a little preachy are, you know, maybe kind of disappointed because it's not what they expect. But if you haven't read the graphic novel and you're thinking of checking it out, I'd still advise it. And as I said earlier, the casting I thought was perfect. The acting was brilliant. The fight sequences in this film were amazing and very well done, really well choreographed. And the film also has quite an interesting soundtrack, and I must say I thought the soundtrack works phenomenally well. The only thing that I found a bit odd was the use of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah during a sex scene. A bit strange, but hey, there you go. I just loved the whole film, and you know, I especially love the opening montage. You know, as soon as the screen goes like blank yellow at the beginning, I was like, yes, I can't wait. You know, this film's going to be awesome, and it really was. It really delivers. Okay, so now it's time to move on to my thoughts on the DVD's special features. Now, first up, I'll mention the My Chemical Romance music video for Desolation Row. It was alright. I'm not a big My Chemical Romance fan, but if you are, it's worth checking out. It wasn't something that I was overly bothered about. Also on there are the Watchmen video journals. These are the main behind-the-scenes stuff to this DVD. But the thing was, they were released in monthly instalments for a year before the film was released in cinemas, so it's not actually anything new, so I was a little disappointed we haven't really had much new behind the scenes features, but well worth watching if you're into all behind the scenes stuff like I am. I still enjoyed watching them, but as I said, I would have liked to see more new stuff as well as that. There was also The Phenomenon, the comic that changed comics, the original graphic novel's groundbreaking impact. Fabulous featurette. I'm so glad the graphic novel has got some recognition on this, because it is an amazing graphic novel. I'm just glad that this picked up on the history of the Watchmen graphic novel and how it has impacted both the comic industry and the world. So that's a feature well worth watching. Another feature on the DVD was the Real Superheroes, Real Vigilantes featurette, and this was about people who are actually vigilantes like the Watchmen, but in real life. And at first I thought this was a bit boring, it started off a bit stale, but it got so interesting as it went on, and I was like, wow, actually this is really good, and I can't believe some of the things people are doing in real life, you know. So that was a feature that's well worth checking out, because it is really intriguing, and it's so interesting to see what people will do, you know, and how much they're willing to risk their own lives to help others. It's really worth checking out, that one. There's also the viral video, MBS Nightly News, which is kind of like a featurette, which is a old news clip from the 80s, but obviously it's fake, you know, for the purpose of the DVD, but it's made to look old like the DVD was, and it's really quite good actually. And I enjoyed that, and having that olden day kind of authentic feel to it is really good. So yeah, that was a nice little extra on the DVD. And the final featurette is the Mechanics, Technologies of a Fantastic World. And it's quite good actually. Basically, a real life physicist talks about whether some of the stuff in the film would be, you know, humanly possible, and this was a pretty interesting feature actually, and it was a lot better than most of the science lessons I had at school, so it's worth checking out. The film, well, the DVD does have some Easter eggs on there to find, one or two. I won't spoil the surprise of what they are, but there aren't many on there, but you may want to check that out. Also, the film doesn't have any audio commentaries, which I found a bit lame. The film though is brilliant, and the DVD could have had a few more special features, and we also could have had the director's cut in non-USA countries, but unfortunately that never happened. And that is it for this edition of Entertainment Zone. That's my thoughts on the 2-disc edition DVD of Watchmen. I hope you enjoyed. If you've seen the film, leave a comment to let me know what you thought. Tell me also what you thought of the DVD, whether you have the 1-disc edition, the 2-disc edition, or if you're in the USA, the director's cut edition, because I'm eager to hear your thoughts on all of that. And remember, for the latest edition of Entertainment Zone, be sure to subscribe. That's it from me, and I'll see you very soon. But for now, it's bye-bye from me.